समारंभां शंकराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतो वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। नारायणं पद्मभं वसिष्ठं शक्तिं च तत्पुत्रपराशरं च व्यासं शुकं भक्तं महान्तं गोविन्दयुगीतमथास्य शिष्यं श्रीशङ्कराचार्यमथास्य शिष्यं तन्तोटकं वार्तिककारमं ज्ञानस्मद्गुरुं सन्ततमानतोऽस्मि। यः साक्षात् सच्चिदानन्दं प्रत्यगद्वयमक्रियं तन्नमामि यस्य योगिगम्यं परं खानिलाग्निब्धरित्रं श्रवणयोद्गतं यथा अन्तच्छिदिनमस्तु स्वाक्षिणे। So 97th verse said, "Vrite jnanam na santyartha, asti jnanam vrite apitan, evam dhiyo hirog jyotir vivichyad anumanatah." So manana is needed using anumana, tarka, manana. One has to understand that this jyoti, atma jyoti, prakasha rupa, chaitanya rupa, atma is what? Is pratak, hiruk. Pratak separate from what? Buddhi, the all the vrittis. Why? How do we know? So the tarka is given अन्वय व्यतिरेक. So jnanamrute arthana santi. Vishayas, padarthas are not existent. They don't get their satta and spurti without jnana. The jnana meaning here what? The karta of the dhatu jna. Kartari utpatti I had mentioned. Kartari liu. Given the sutra also somebody had asked. So nandi grahi pachadibhyo liu niyachaha. So ni pratyaya. Liu pratyaya, ni pratyaya, and ach pratyaya in kartari. Kartari krut is the sutra for that. So liu pratyaya is in kartari artha, and your anako will give you ana. So nya plus liu will become nya plus ana. You get jnana in karta. So pramata ityartha. Without the pramata, there is no prameya siddhi. All the prameya is because of pramata. When atma takes the role of pramata, then the prameya comes to light through pramana. Pramana serve their purpose. So everything is centered around atma, who becomes pramata. So every jada vastu is for the chaitanya. That is the idea here. And their further vyatireka is what? Their further vyatireka is asti jnanam rute apitan. Tan arthan rute, vishayan rute. Without the arthas also, jnana is there. Chaitanya exists. So that is the 97th verse we saw. Further in the 98th verse, we are seeing vyavadhiyante evami buddhi deha ghatadaya atmatvad atmanakkena vyavadhanam managapi. So aksheparte kim? How is there even a possibility of atma being separate from atma? Why? What is hetu atmatvad? Atmana atmatvad. Atma being atma. Hetu is what? Atma is atma. Therefore, how can atma be away from atma? How can atma be away from me? One atma is I. How can I be away from atma, or how can atma be away from me? Why? Because I am atma. But in the other case, ghatadaya, buddhi deha ghatadaya. Sukshma sharira, stula sharira, and anything outside ghatapatadi prapancha, ami, all of those are what? Vyavadhiyante eva. Atmanah vyavadhiyante eva. There is always a separation of Sukshma Sharira, Sthula Sharira, and Ghatapatadi Prapancha from Atma. To this, there is no question asked because we have already established Buddhi, Ahankara, is separate from Atma. So we are including that also. Buddhi, Deha, Ghata, Deha, Vivadhiyante. They are separate from Atma, away from Atma, but Atma cannot be away from Atma, or I cannot be away from Atma, or Atma cannot be away from I. Whichever way you take, the Mukhya Artha of Pratyagatma is I. So that Atma cannot be separate from me at all. Why? Hetu given is Atmatvat. And I had mentioned that there is a Tarka here. There is an Akshepa possible. How can you say Atmatvad Hetu? And the example given was Tarkika also uses this, which is a flawed logic. Anekantika Hetu, Vyavichari. So he says, what Shabdo Nitya, Shabdatvad. So isn't this similar? Atma Avyavahitaha Atmatvad. Sounds very similar to me, says the Purvapakshi here. You are using Tarkika's flawed logic, where doshas are shown. Tarkika in the sense, a flawed Tarkika. The other Tarkika corrects. There is a dosha here. How can you say Shabdaha Nitya Shabdatvat? It is flawed because I don't have anything else where there is no Shabda. So no example can be used here. No real example actually. But he'll say what? Akashagata Shabdatvat. So here, Atmatvad Atmanaha Avyavahitatvam cannot be proven, says the Purvapakshi. This is a very similar flawed logic. Siddhanti says no. In that case, in Shabdo Nityaha Shabdatvat, all Shabdas will become Nitya because Shabdatva will be in Shabda. There the problem is that there is opposing Pramana. Or what is the opposing Tarka? There is an opposing Tarka. So the Tarkika there says, the main Tarkika would say, this is flawed logic. Why? He says, Shabdaha Anityaha. Why? Karyatvat. Shabda is Karya, Shabda is Utpanna. Therefore it is Anitya. So now you have opposing Tarka. Not only that, Pratyaksha Pramana is also there. Shabda, you hear Shabda, you don't hear Shabda continuously. Any Shabda you don't hear continuously. It comes up and goes. So it is Anitya. Pratyaksha Pramana Virodha is also there. And if you want Tarka, Tarka is also there. Karyatva Hetu. Example will be given what? We saw that. Bheri Mrudanga Shabdavat. Any Shabda is Anitya. Why? Because it is Karya. You have opposing Hetu. Here you don't have anything opposing. Atma is Avyavahita by Atmatvat. What is your opposing Hetu? What is the Pratyaksha Pramana also? Any Pramana do you have? You don't have. So this is not a flawed logic. We don't have this Anekantikatvam. There's only Ekanta here. There's no second possibility at all. So thereby Atmatva Deva Avyavahita. So Vyavadhanam Managapi Kena Bhavati. Kena Pina Bhavati Ityartham. So further, Vyavadhiyante iti Atmanaha Chaitanya Abhasa Udaya Apekshvatvat. Buddhi Siddhehe Atmanah Chaitanya Abhasa Udaya Apekshvatvat Buddhi Siddhe Tad Anapekshaha Swatah Siddha Atma Swabhava Apekshaya Buddhehe Vyavadhanam. So how is this Buddhi Vyavadhana, Buddhi Ghata, Deha Ghatadi, and why Atma Vyavadhana is not there? This is Atmanah Chaitanya Abhasa Udaya Apekshatvat Buddhi Siddhe. Panchami. Atmana is Panchami. And Chaitanya Abhasa Udaya Apekshatvat Buddhi Siddhe. So this Chaitanya Abhasa Udaya Apeksha is there for Buddhi Siddhi of the Buddhi. And what is that Chaitanya Abhasa Udaya Apeksha? Actually, this Atmanaha is a little tricky here. Just give me one moment. Atmanaha Chaitanya Abhasa Udaya Apekshatva Buddhi Siddhe Tad Anapekshaha Swatah Siddha Atma Swabhava Apekshaya Buddhehe. The arrangement is a little tricky here. So Buddhehe Vyavadhanam. You have to establish Buddhi is Vyavahita, separated. Why? He says स्वतः सिद्ध आत्म स्वभाव अपेक्षया. Buddhi Vyavadana is what? From Atma. So its Atmana can be taken as separate, connecting with all of these words here. So Swatah Siddha Atma. What is its Swabhava? Swatah Siddhatva Neva. Its Swarupa is Swatah Siddha. And Tadapekshya Buddhi Vyavadanam. So when you look at Atma, Buddhi is Vyavahita, a little separate, used from the standpoint of Atma, which is Swatah Siddha. But Buddhi Siddhi is based on what? Atmanaha Chaitanya Abhasa Udaya Apeksha. Actually, this is tricky because it's a Atmana is Shashti, not Panchami. This is tricky because there's an Ekadesha Anvaya. I always have trouble with Ekadesha Anvaya. I told you earlier. This is not the way, the sentences read well. But they are used. In Vyakarana, it should not be used. Samasa Ekadesha Anvaya should not be used. See this Atmanaha Shashti, I am having trouble understanding this because Anvaya is not possible. This Atmana goes with Chaitanya. Atmana Chaitanya. Rao Shirava Chashti. That's the only way it seems to be working for me. So, Samasta Pada would have been good. Atma Chaitanya Abhasa Udaya Apekshatva Buddhi Siddhi. It's very simple. There is no Atmana needed separately there. So, Atma, you will read it as Atma Chaitanya. Atma is Chaitanya. Atmana Chaitanya. Atma has Anvaya with Chaitanya. This is called as Ekadesha Anvaya. Only with Chaitanya there is a connection. It is not with Apeksha. Atmana Apeksha, Apekshatuat Buddhi Siddhi does not work there because Chaitanya Abhas Uday has been mentioned. So, Atma and Atmana Apeksha. If you take Atmana Apeksha, then we have to take another kind of Anvaya. So, the meaning is what? Atmanaha Chaitanyam. So, Chaitanya Swarupatvam ityartha. Atma Chaitanya. So, Atma, which is Chaitanya Rupa, Tasya Udaya Apeksha is there for Buddhi Siddhi. Without the Chaitanya Abhasa coming up in Swapna or Jagrata Avastha, Buddhi cannot be established. It can be established only in Jagrata and Swapna. In Sushupti, Chaitanya is there. Atmana Chaitanya Masti eva. But Abhasa Udaya is not there. In Avidya it is there, but in Antakarana it is not there. It comes up with the Antakarana Udaya. And I've mentioned it umpteen times as to what? The first individuality is when Buddhi, Ahankara comes up. Otherwise we don't know. It is there in Bija Avastha, in Sushupti, during Sushupti, but it is not in manifested. So it manifests with Sambandha, Tadatmya Sambandha in Antakarana. How is that? When there is an Abhasa or Pratibimba. That Pratibimba is there in Avidya, but it is unmanifest. So manifest state is taken as Atmana Chaitanya Abhasa Udaya Apekshatva Buddhi Siddhi. Then only you know, yes, I have woken up. How do you know we woken up? When the Antakarana starts working, it comes up. So Buddhi Siddhi is only when Chaitanya reflection takes place. Buddhi is there, but Siddhi is not there. Buddhi may be there, but how do we know Buddhi is there? So in Drishti Siddhivada, we'll say Buddhi is also not there. Only with Abhasa, there is Buddhi Siddhi. But one will say it's a catch-22. Abhasa cannot come up without Buddhi. So how do you say Buddhi is not there? So we'll say that Buddhi is also Kalpita only. Abhasa is Kalpita, Buddhi is Kalpita. And then Satyatvena established only when Abhasa is there. There's no catch-22. There's no interdependency. Mutual interdependency is not there. So we'll say Atma Chaitanya, which is there, Atmana Chaitanya Abhasa Udaya Apekshatvat. Thereby what? Or Atmanaha, I'll just see if I can make some sense without the Ekadeshan way. Atmanaha Apekshatvam. Buddhi Siddhe Atmana Apekshatvam. But still, Chaitanya Abhasa Udaya is not Atma. Does not worry. Ekadesha Anvaya only. Okay. Otherwise, I was thinking is Atmana Apeksha. Buddhi Siddhe Atmana Apeksha. What about that Anvaya? That would work, but then you'll have to call Chaitanya Abhasa Udaya itself as Atma. So it is not, not comfortable with it. So I'll say Ekadesha Anvaya, Atma is Chaitanya, and that Atma Chaitanya, Abhasa, when it comes up Udaya, then only Buddhi Siddhi is there. Therefore, Buddhi Siddhi has expectancy of Atma through the Abhasa. That's the dependency. And Tad Anapeksha will say Buddhi Siddhi. Buddhi is not expected for Swatah Siddhi. So for Swatah Siddha Atma, so Tadanapeksha Swatah Siddha Atma Swabhava Apeksha. Atma Swabhava and Apekshaya Buddhehi Vyavadanam. So Buddhi is separated because if you convey Vyatireka, who needs whom? So generally, you have a fight with someone. You also need me. No, I don't need you. You need me, I don't need you. So somebody will say, Chaitra Maitra are fighting. So here Atma versus Buddhi, Ahankaradi. Meaning what? Buddhi, Deha and Ghatapatadi. Who needs whom? Atma does not need any of these to exist. All of them, they need Buddhi, they need Atma, Swarupa to exist. For Satta also, Spurti also. For Satta itself, let alone Spurti. So, because of this Anvaya Vyatireka, Anumana, you can prove that Atma is Swatah Siddha, does not have any dependency on the other. Therefore, Buddhi Ityadis are separate from Atma. So, Buddhi Vyavadhana. From what? From Atma. Which Atma? Swatah Siddha Atma. Its Swabhava is like that. Swatah Siddha Atma. Which has no Apeksha, Tad Anapeksha. We can say Tad Anapeksha if you have to take the same, because in Tat, we can't take Buddhi Siddhi if we take Atmana Chaitanya Abhasa Udaya also. Abhasa Udaya is not needed for Swatah Siddha Atma. Bimba does not have any dependency on the Pratibimba coming up. That is also possible. So we'll say Pratibimba, Atma Pratibimba dependency is there for Buddhi, and thereby everything else that follows. Stula Deha, Gadapatadi Prapancha. So Ahankara Adi Prapancha has dependency on the Pratibimba of Bimba to come up. But Bimba has no dependency on Pratibimba also, and then Buddhyadi Bauduram. There is no possibility of any dependency on Buddhyadi Ghatapatadi Prapancha for Atma Siddhi, Bimba Siddhi. Bimba is on its own, Swatah Siddha. That is the idea here. Dehasya Punaha. Now, if you say Buddhi itself is dependent on Atma Pratibimba for its existence, and it is Vyavahita from Atma, then what comes up after that? Sukshma Sharira is there in Deha. Deha is further away, Stula Deha. In Panchakosha Viveka, you see Atma is the innermost, Pratyagatma. And outermost is Annavaya Kosha, which is called as Deha, Stula Deha. So, when Buddhi itself is away from Atma, what to talk about the Stula Deha? So, here Dehasya Punah, Buddhi Apekshatvad, Indriya Apekshatvacha, Tata Api Vyavadhanam. How do you know Stula Deha is there? In Swapnavastha, there is no Stula Deha. In Jagrata Avastha, there is Stula Deha. If this is the argument, then what proves Stula Deha? Stula Deha is proven only through Indriyas. Buddhi Apeksha is there, Antakarana is needed. Not only Indriyas, Indriyas are backed by Antakarana. So in Swapna also, Swapna Deha Siddhi is there through Antakarana Kalpana, really. So Antakarana is needed, Buddhi is needed. And Indriyas are also needed. Without Indriyas, the Deha, not only my Deha, others Deha, we start with others Dehas. How do I know other Dehas, other bodies exist? Because of my Antakarana Indriyas connecting. Similarly, what about my Deha? If I already knew my deha is there without indriyas and antakarna, I won't need a mirror to look at, to make up my face. I won't need it. I won't need to, somebody tells you, oh, you have something on your hand, something. So, without indriyas, if it is possible, then I don't need to look at my hand. I would know without the indriyas, I would know, there's something on my hand. I don't know that. Therefore, indriya apeksha is also there, antakarana apeksha is there for deha. Dehasya punah buddhi apekshatvad, indriya apekshatvad. Both hetus. So to establish this stula deha, my own stula deha, I have dependence on antakarana as well as indriyas. Therefore, buddhi which is drawn away from atma, that buddhi is needed to establish something else, and that something else has to be further away. Tatapi means buddhya, this buddhya api, compared to buddhya or buddhe api, tato api vyavadhanam. Compared to buddhi also, deha is further away from atma. Now the third, Ghatapadadi Prapancha, what to talk about them? They need my deha itself. Without the deha, I cannot interact with this Ghatapadadi Prapancha. Therefore, Ghatadinam punah Deshakaladi Sannidhana Apekshatvat. So through my desha, Sharira desha, deha, my deha is here. Ghatapadadi deha is elsewhere. So my deha desha and the Ghatapadadi desha are separated out. There is a Kala separation also. So Ghatapadadi now there, now not there. Therefore, Desha Kaladi Sannidhana Apekshatvat. They need Ghatapatadi has dependency on Desha, Kala, and Deha Desha also. It should be reachable through the Indriyas. Indriya Gocharatvam also shows Desha. Indriya Gocharatvam not only Yogyata, but Gocharatvam is, it is in the vicinity, accessible Desha of Indriyas. Then only Ghatapatadi Siddhi. So my Deha, from my Indriyas are in my Deha. They go out to the Vishaya Desha, but that Vishaya should be accessible, then only they'll go there. Therefore, there is a dependency with the boundary of the Deha Desha also for Indriyas to connect, and shows dependency, further more and more dependency compared to the Deha. Therefore, much more drawn out from Atma. So that has been established. See, this is all known. Why it is shown in Tarka, Manana. What is the, what is the secret revealed here? There's no secret to be revealed. But we miss it out. We miss out a structured, stepwise inquiry into Atma. We take it for granted. We take our Anubhava to be granted as what? Yathartha. So this inquiry, this spoon feeding is needed so that, although our eyes are open, our, the buddhi is closed. So we learn to see not through eyes, we learn through through buddhi. This is the idea. So what appears need not be true. That is the idea. So Ghatadinam punah Deshakaladi Sandhidhana Apekshatvat, Buddhyadi Apekshatvat. Both are needed. Therefore, Dehadapi Vyavadhanam Atmana Ityartha. So, Dehadapi Vyavadhanam Atmana Ityartha. So, here Atmana has been mentioned. So, Dehatma. You see, Dehatma, if you take Deha as Atma, compared to that also, it is further away. Or, Dehad, see, Atmanaha Dehad Vyavadhanam and Tasmadapi Vyavadhanam Atmana, from Atma. So, we can take it in two stages. Otherwise, this Atmana is not called for here. So here, they compared to Deha also, or you can say Dehadapi, compared to Deha also, that way you can take Buddhyadi Apekshatvat Kasyat Ghatadinam Atmanaha Vyavadhanam. So that's the Anvaya. Ghatadinam Atmana Vyavadhanam Dehadapi. Dehadapi Adhikam Ityartha. Vyavadhanam is further drawn away. So this is the 98th verse. We've seen this Nayaveti. 99th verse says, Uktarthe, the introduction, Uktarthe swayam eva hetumaha swayamiti. So much of inquiry has gone by. Now hetu for that. Uktarthe, same idea. What is Uktartha? Lot of things are going on. So this hetu is for what? Uktartha, so much has been said. It is a what is the hetu for? What was the Uktartha? So this the Tippana says, Buddhyadinam vyavahitatvam Uktartha. What is the Uktartha? Buddhyadinam vyavahitatvam. Atmana vyavahitvatvam. Buddhyadinam. So Buddhi, Deha, ne Sukshma Sharira, Stula Sharira, and Ghatapatadi Prapancha are away from Atma. There is Bheda. It's separated out. For this, Hetu is given. Mulakara, Swayam Anavagamatmakatvat. Swayam Anavagamatmakatvat. Avagamatvam Atmana Katham Bhavati. Swabhavata Bhavati Satasiddhatvat. Atma Swabhava is to be known, and known in the sense what? To be revealed, and to reveal everything in its presence, so to say, Swabhava. Satasiddhatma, that is its Swarupa. Satasiddhatvam, its Swabhava. What about the other? Buddhyadi? Not Swatasiddha. So Swatasiddha, another word for Swatasiddha was Swayam Avagamakatvam. And Aswata Siddhatvam or Swata Asiddhatvam. For that what? Swayam Ana Avagamakatvam. That is Hetu. Because it is not known on its own. It has dependency on Atma. Buddhyadi have dependency on Atma. What about Stula Deha has dependency on Atma definitely, but through Buddhyadi, Indriya. Therefore, Deha is further away. Ghatapatadi have dependency on Deha also, which is dependent on Antakarana and Indriya Sukshma Sharira, which is in turn dependent on Atma for its Siddhi. So it's a long chain. Borrowed money, lent it out, then that person lends out, then someone else. So it goes on and on and on. So your money, or whatever book, you lend something. That's why, people say you should never lend anything to anyone because they'll lend it to someone else. You'll never get it back. Especially books, old school books. Now, not so much of books. But that's why, whatever you like, you give it to someone. That person will give it to someone else. Because you are my friend. I give it to you. Don't give it to anyone. I don't need to say. That person will say, it's not mine. But, don't give it to anyone. You can return it after a few days. So the chain continues. So here the satta is also. Atma gives satta to buddhi. Okay, you are my friend. Why? Because with you, I can, do kalpana, prapancha kalpana. So buddhi says, okay, oh, very good. It must more kalpana, Deha also. Then with Deha, Ghatapatadi prapancha, satta lent out, does not return. Satta does not return. Atma is going out, does not come back. So, continuous journey. So, Swayam, Anavagama Atmakatvat. Anavagama Atmakatvat. That is the Swabhava of Buddhyadi. Cannot be known on its own. Always depend on someone else. And Anavagama Atmakatvam cha. And how is this not being known? I have trouble pronouncing this. I don't know why. Tongue twister for me. Some words are twisted. Everyone has issues with some words or other. I seem to have trouble here. Let me have a sip of water. So, Anavagamatmakatvam cha mohamatra upadhanatvat. So the entire chain where the book itself started, the Sangati, the Sambandhokti initial, first chapter, before the first sloka. So there itself the chain has been mentioned. This has been re-established through Tarka now. Same idea. So, Mohamatra Upadhanatvat. But here there is a Very tricky construct. You look at it. This is why the new tika has to be questioned, because they take avidya and adhyasa in the same sense. Not avidya as karana. Ajnana is not taken as karana for adhyasa. They say adhyasa and avidya is same. What is their pramana? One of the lakshanas quoted by Bhagwan Bhashyakara in Adhyasa Bhashya, saying iti uchyate or panditaha. Adhyasam manyate. Pandita manyante. Adhyasam iti manyante. Adhyasa iti manyante. So what they consider this as adhyasa does not mean Bhagwan Bhashyakara is agreeing. Like see why there is a sukshma ansha here. Those who have studied Vyakarana. What is lopashakalyasya? Lopashakalyasya. So in some particular constructs in Sandhi, Shakalya, Vyakarana, Acharya says there should be Lopa. Now, if Lopa is a standard, why should Panini Maharshi say Lopa Shakalyasya? One is Adarartham. Adara is given, Purva Acharya should be respected, or at the same time there are Acharyas, they have this mata, scholars, so you have to respect that. But Lopa, if Lopa is there, you could just say Lopa. Shakalyasya matana is not needed. Adara is one part. But if it is accepted by everyone, even if it is Shakalya mata, and if it is accepted by everyone, meaning he is the one who has mentioned this is the rule, and you all accept it, then you don't need to say Shakalyasya mata, because everyone knows it's Shakalyasya mata. And there is a vibhasha. Why is there a vibhasha? This sutra is pramana not only for lopa. That sutra is not pramana only for lopa. It is pramana also for no lopa. Vibhasha. Va. How do we know? Because Shakalyasya matena. So Panini mata is what? Lopana kartavya. So now you have two pakshas. He says, I respect what he says. You can do lopa. And you need not do lopa also. So you have vibhasha. You have two forms now. So asavaditya or asau aditya. Asa aditya. So if you don't do sandhi, asau aditya, that is the Surya Aditya. This is without sandhi. If you do sandhi, what you will get? You will get Hoyavayava. Hoyavayava, and then what you will get? Asavaditya. Now the Shakalya mata says that lopa, vakarasya, yo. So yakara vakara should undergo lopa. So you'll get asa aditya. Panini Maharshi said don't do lopa. So you'll get asavaditya. So asa aditya is also right. Asavaditya is also right. But if you say asa and aditya, now you can't do akas savarna dirya, you want to savarna dirya sandhi. You cannot say asaditya. Asaditya is not possible because what purvatra siddham. It is all in Tripadi. So here also, when Bhagwan Bhashyakara says Pandita Manyante, and he does not give only one definition, it is not a definition really. He says they consider this. It is not Lakshana Vakya at all, really. They call it as Adhyasa. And we have seen many times, if you ask someone, what is this? You bring a pot, you see some weird color, you say, what is it? Then you say, oh, this is copper. So you call it as copper. This is pot, but it is called as copper. So the karana, karya, these words are used. Karya can be called with karana. Karana can be called in some context with karya. But generally, this interchangeability does not show it is exactly like that. There is a difference. In Vyavahara, there is a difference between karana and karya. Although in inquiry we see as one, it has a mithyatvam, because dependency is there on karana for karya to exist. But we use these terms. So adhyasa iti manyante does not mean that ajnana and adhyasa are same. They call this very thing as, because karana, Adhyasa is not same as ajnana, but ajnana karya, but still it can be called as, this ajnana is adhyasa only. Why? Because the avarana shakti is hidden. Vikshepa is what we are influenced with. Adhyasa is vikshepa. So what is ajnana? Vikshepa only. Why? Because we don't see avarana at all. Avarana shakti is not seen. That is what is hiding us. Real Sarupa. What is manifest in vikshepa, we consider that as karana for the entire prapancha. That I am a baddha jiva, that I am an individual. This is moha, this is adhyasa. Manushyattvam is adhyasa in me, in atma. That is ajnana karya. But if you call that itself as ajnana and adhyasa is same, then what will I say? Because I am a manushya, I have to suffer. That will be given as a mula hetu. Because I think of myself as an individual, I have to have samsara. There is dukkha. So root cause analysis is missing. Why do I consider myself as manushya? Because there is adhyasa. You cannot say the hetu, there the hetu won't work. Like atmatvad atmanaha avyavayitatvam hetu you cannot use here. Saying that, why do I consider myself as a manushya? Because you consider yourself as a manushya. That will be the answer. Because of adhyasa, if you say manushyatvam itself is adhyasa, if I ask, why do I consider myself as manushya? Because of adhyasa means what? I consider myself as manushya because I consider myself as manushya. That is not an answer. It is a complete non-answer. So inquiry is lacking in this. You have to say ajnana is there. Ajnana is there as mula karana. Now someone may say, why is ajnana there? Why is ajnana there? Because you asked me, why do I consider myself as a manushya? Then why is there ajnana? So there we have to say anadi kalata. Then I can also say, Purva Pakshi may say, I'll also say, Anadi Kalata, I consider myself as Manushya. No, you have been Prani also. You cannot say, I consider myself Manushya, Anadi Kalata. Vikshepa has to be Karya. Vikshepa cannot be. Vikshepa is, yes, it is there, Antargata, as a part in Ajnana. Ajnana is twofold, Avaranatmika and Vikshepatmika. But Vikshepa, if you look at it, there is some Karyakarana Bhava there. Without the Avarana, Vikshepa is not possible. Satyatvena. Vikshepa is still possible, but Satyatvena it is not possible without Avarana. Because Mukta Jiva will have Vikshepa. Prapancha will be still seen, but not Satyatvena. Will have Manushya Sharira, Pratiti also, but Avarana is not there. However, Satyatvena it is not there. Vikshepa is not there, Satyatvena. So for Satyatva Buddhi in Vikshepa, you need Avarana also. Anyway, this is a background to this. So here, why do I bring it up here? Because here, Anavagamatmakatvancha Mohamatra Upadanatvat. Moha Matra is Upadana. This is Bahuri. Not knowing something. See, Ajnana is, what do they call Ajnana as? Ajnana for the newer Tika, Prakriya, they'll say Ajnana Nai is Abhavarte. Right? So, Anavagamatmakatvam. That's all. You don't know your Swarupa. That's what they'll say. If you ask more, what is this? We were talking about Ajnana. Hey, why are you a samsari? Why do you consider yourself Manushya? Because there is Adhyasa. What is Adhyasa? Ajnana Abhava. Jnana Abhava. Ajnana meaning Jnana Abhava. Abhavarte nahi. Not acceptable to Sampradaya. Why? Here, see, they say no. Bhagavan Sureshwaracharya also agrees. Shankaracharya says in the Bhagavan Bhashyakara says this in Adhyasa Bhashya, and Sureshwaracharya also. Everyone else is wrong. How? If everyone else is wrong, Bhagavan Bhashyakara does not say this. Bhagavan Sureshwaracharya also does not say this. Here is the pramana right here. Anavagamatmakatvam cha moha matra upadanatvat. If anavagamatmakatvam means jnana abhava, right? Nai is there, an. Avagamatvam kim? Avagamatvam means what? Jnanam. Avagama is jnana. Anavagama is ajnana. Now, ajnana is abhavartha. Here abhavartha only. Anavagama, if it is abhavartha nahi, then why are you looking for hetu for that? That itself is hetu, right? For everything you have said. Jnana abhava is the hetu for samsara. That is their paksha. So we ask, why is Bhagavan Sureshwaracharya saying anavagamatmakam cha moha matra upadanatvat? I don't know my swarupa because there is moha. This is what is this moha? Moha matra upadana, clearly virodharte nahi. Because there is virodha, moha is opposing that, it becomes karana for your not knowing your swarupa. Very clear statement. This is missed. Very unfortunate because you're pre-concluded. Like other darshanikas. It's a cult. Unfortunate, but it's a cult. There is no better word for this. 1200 years of sampradaya is wrong, but I have got it. Our Guruji, our Parama Guruji has got it. Is a cult, nothing else. To point fingers at the entire 1200 years of sampradaya and selectively reading Bhagavan Bhashyakara and Sureshwaracharya is nothing but a very core bias or misunderstanding. Maybe a sadhu, undoubtedly, maybe a mukta also. But in the prakriya, it is wrong. He clearly, see, anavagamatmakatancha moha matra upadanam. Moha matram is what upadanam yasya avagamatmakattvasya. So with tva, you have to remove all this tva. Yasya anavagamasya. Not knowing is the hetu for everything, is their claim. First of all, not knowing above of something cannot be a hetu. But if you say adhyasa is ajnana, adhyasa is karana, and you say ajnana is not karana, that is also wrong. Logically flawed. If you say adhyasa and ajnana are both one and the same, adhyasa is karana, but ajnana is not, it's a ridiculous statement. Then if you say ajnana is abhavartha nahi, but it is not karana, then we'll say, okay, then why are you looking for ajnana at all? Ajnana is not karana for anything, then ajnana need not be considered at all. No talk of ajnana is needed. Then that itself has hetu in the form of moha matra. What is this moha matra? Kim nama moha matratvam? So you have to say moha means what? Delusion. Delusion is what? Vikshepa. Vikshepa is hetu. So for vikshepa, what is the hetu? So they'll say adhyasa. So adhyasa becomes karana for, if you say anavagama is ajnana, then ajnana, you have reversed it. Ajnana, if you say anavagama itself is called as ajnana, then this anavagama ajnana has vikshepa as karana. Entire, ulti Ganga. So from the plains, Ganga is flowing towards Himalaya. Very unfortunate. This is what I see anyway. I have no dvesha, but I'm saying that I'm just answering to the opposition to the Vyakhyanakaras. They say they are opposed to Vyakhyanas, and my paksha is sampradaya to establish the Vyakhyanakaras paksha. And that includes showing flaw in those who are throwing stones. So, and they call, all sorts of names to Vyakhyanakaras. Anyway, that being so, Swayam Anavagamatmakatvat. Kesham, yes? What is the question? Please answer.
The first anavagatatvat, that's a hetu.
Sorry,
right?
what is the hetu?
The swayam anavagamatma.
Yeah, this. Swayam Anavagamatmakatvat is the hetu, yes.
Is a hetu.
For
and
what?
Then the second.
For what? Hetu, yes, but for what?
Hetu is that Atma is different from Buddhi, the Babodhana. Okay? Yeah. And then the second, it's the same word without the swayam, katwam. So that's showing that it's the abhava.
See, Swayam Anavagamatmakatvam means what? It is a hetu, but what is the meaning of this? Not being known by itself. That is the hetu for buddhi, etc., being separate from Atma. Right? That has been established. buddhi, etc. are separate from Atma has been shown because there is a dependency. Dependency. Now, Sambandhokti itself says, what is the meaning of dependency on Atma? Dependency on Atma. Buddhi has dependency on Atma for its siddhi, for its being proven to exist. There is buddhi. How do you know? Because Atma shows that, meaning I know, I see, I objectify buddhi. How about deha? Because buddhi, indriya show there is deha. Therefore deha exists. Okay, what about Ghadapatadi Prapancha? Yes, because through my deha, with my indriyas, with my buddhi, I see Ghadapatadi Prapancha, I objectify it. Right? This is the sequence. Now, Sambandhokti says the other side, Atma is known on its own, by its own, right? Atma stands out on its own. Others, Buddhi, Deha, Ghatapatadi Prapancha, have dependency on this. What does this mean by dependency? So he says that they cannot be proven to be existent on their own. So that is it. Swayam anavagamatmakatvat, meaning buddhyadi, buddhi, deha, ghatapatadi, prapancha cannot be proven to be existent on their own. That is the dependency. So now they cannot be known. Why can't they not be known? Why? Why can't they be revealed on their own? Anavagamatmakatvam. That is the question now. So on their own, they cannot be known. They don't stand out on their own.
He's questioning why. Like why? If the question comes, so he's answering that before it.
Why? Yeah. So why? So now the question is, see, if I tell you, give you one hetu, you can keep on asking why, right? So he's asking why. Why do I not know Ghatapatadi on their own? Meaning, in fact, it is not even that. It is not even that. Not I know. See, this is very difficult to see. I know I exist. Chetanatva is hetu really. I know I exist. Ghatapatadis do not exist on their own, meaning what? When I am not there, they are not there. If I am not objectifying Ghatapatadi, Buddhi, Ityadi, they are not there. See, if you say everything is there because I see, right? I will believe only what I see. I have seen, that's why we have, these phrases in all languages. I have seen it with my own eyes. अपने आंखों से देखा है. Why? What does it mean? It means that it is true. Because I have seen through my eyes, it is true. So how do all of these get satta? Because I have objectified it, that's why they get satta. That's what it means really. Okay. What if I am not seeing? Are they not there? Siddhanti says no. Why? They are not known. To whom will they be known? You tell me, to whom will they be known? Ghatapatadi, Prapancha, Buddhi, Ityadi, to themselves. Jada cannot know themselves. If your underlying current is what? Jada cannot know themselves. They need Chetana to be known. And that knowledge proves that they exist. Because I see, they should be there. If that is your hetu all your life, then Satta is by Jnana only. You know it exists. Not only does it exist, you have to know that it exists, then only it exists. Otherwise, it does not. Without knowledge of something, how do you know it has exists? Somebody else told me, okay. There, somewhere in, let's say in US, you have some particular thing. I have never gone. So you tell me, oh, such a thing is there. Oh, really? I am surprised. Then I say that there is such a thing to someone else. That person, how do you know? Have you gone there? No, I have not gone there. How do you know? Someone told me. Someone told me that someone has seen, objectified. Somehow that somebody has to have objectified it. Therefore, that satta is known. Otherwise, that satta to be claimed, it is there. It has to be known. This is called as jnata satta. Jnata satta. So for somebody else, jnata satta. For me, ajnata satta. Drishti Srishti Vada will say that ajnata satta is not there. Anything that is not known is not there. So much is there in this. But here, very simple thing is what? I know I exist on my own. Ghatapatadi prapancha, I have to objectify to know. Buddhyadi prapancha, I have to objectify to know they exist. This is the basis. This is the foundation of the argument. The other side you can see, the buddhyadi are known to whom? I am known to myself. If I say, I know that I exist, on my own I know. I don't have to objectify myself to know. Swatah siddha. Ghatapatadi are to be objectified by me or someone else, some chetana. Can they be objectified by themselves? They cannot be. We have seen this earlier. Jada cannot objectify Jada. Some Chetana is needed. And Chetana cannot objectify Chetana also. So there is no objectification process. Subject-object division is always there. So all that has, that has strengthening this argument till now. Now he says, why is it so? Why is it so that Buddhyadi do not stand out on their own? Let Atma stand out on its own. Buddhyadi also stand out. Sankhyas talk about it. Sankhyas say that Prakriti itself exists on its own. How do you know? Hey, my Darshana says so. But how do you know? How you, as Darshanika, know? This is the question. Purusha is known on its own. We agree. So where there is no argument, we need not argue. So they say Purusha exists on its own, revealed on its own. We say yes, agreed. Prakriti also, Pradhana also known on its own. We say no. Yeah, our Darshanik, our Smriti Grantha says so. We say, how does the Smritikara know? We have to inquire into it. Cannot be known. Because, we objectify. Because you objectify means dependency is there now. Subject dependency has come in. Whether you agree or not, in the statement it is there. Because I saw it. I didn't see it. Somebody else saw it. Somebody else saw it means what? Objectified. Chetana objectified. Therefore you know. Okay. Then why is it that they need objectification? That is the question. Anavagamatmakatvancha moha matra upadanatvat. Says, you don't know. What do you not know? In fact, you don't know Ghatapadadi Prapancha are really not there. That is the idea. They are not known on its own because there is a moha matra upadana there. For that also moha is needed. Moha means some kalpana is needed. That kalpana to come up, it can come up in antakarana. Moha matra, moha ke Ghatapata cannot have moha. Moha will be for Chetana again. So this is the Chetana dependency really. Moha matra upadanatvat. For ayathartha jnana also you need antakarana. Yathartha jnana you anyway need. For yathartha jnana you need antakarana. Antakarana is there in Chetana. Ghatapadadi don't have antakarana. Otherwise they'll also come to life. If you go and say that I want to use Ghata to, we used to hear these jokes in the Sandarbha came up in Bhashya Ityadi. So you pick up the Ghata. There was another example given. I don't want to give that example. So Ghata. So if Ghata had Antakarana, Ghata will have Pratibimba because Chetana is everywhere. Vyapaka Tattva. So Ghata would also, if Ghata had Antakarana, Ghata would have Pratibimba. Then it will come to life. It will consider it as Jiva. And now you want to bring water, use that Ghata. Ghata does not want to come. What will you do? So it will have its own say. Thank God for that. Bhagavan gave us Jada Padartha for the Karma Bhoga of the Chetana. Chetana is associated and he carves out some Ghatapatadi like Prapancha and says, this is my Sharira. Ghata is not my Sharira. Ghata is my say. It is for my help to fetch water and all that. I'll pick it up. So it does not have a say. So that anavagamatmakatvancha, mohamatra upadanat, for to know or know rightly or wrongly any vishaya, I need antakarana. Because I need moha. And moha will come up in antakarana. Antakarana can be there only for chetana. That is the chain underlying there. Cannot be seen clearly, but it is there. Moha matra, who will have moha? Ghatapadadi, Jada cannot have moha. Moha will be for Chetana. So Chetana dependency is there all the way. So Swayam Anavagamatmakatvam, because dependency in Atma, the circuit is closed. Initially we have said dependence in Atma. So then now he says that it cannot be known on its own. What does it mean it cannot be known on its own? Because it has dependency on moha, which is possible only in Chetana, the entire chain. And thereby what? Does it answer your question? Anuradham. So, pramanam antarenaisham. बुद्ध्यादीनाम् असिद्धता अनुभूति फलार्थित्वात् आत्मा ज्ञः किम् अपेक्षते स्वप्रमाणम् अंतरेण येषाम् बुद्ध्यादीनाम् असिद्धता अनुभूति फलार्थित्वात् सिंगल वर्ड आत्मा ज्ञः किम् अपेक्षते. So आक्षेपार्थी किम again? Kim? Katham? All these questioning. They think over all this kim and all that. How? Why? How? How can it be? You think over. So Esham Buddhyadinam. All of these Buddhyadi, how are they established? Are not Swadasiddha. What does it mean, not Swadasiddha? They have dependency. So if I say they have dependency on me, or they are not Swadasiddha, it is the same idea. It is just the two sides of the coin, flip sides. Mean the same thing. येषां बुद्ध्यादीनां प्रमाणमन्तरेण असिद्धता. बुद्ध्यादि बुद्धि देह घटपटादि प्रपंच cannot be established. These, although you say these, when you say these means you are objectified. These buddhyadi, ghatadi, buddhyadi, dehadi, ghatadi, all that you can say adi. All of them cannot be proven without pramana. They need pramana. Atma does not need pramana. What is the pramana for Atma? A Shastra is the pramana, you say, don't you say? No. Shastra also works as pramana only when I am there. So I don't use a Shastra to prove me. I use Shastra to prove what kind of me. What kind of me? Not the samsari, manushya, purusha me. I am what? I am that Atma who is there, but somehow moha is there that I am this manushya ityadi. Shastra tells me you are not. Shastra does not tell me you are this by saying you are Satchidananda Brahma. Shastra is not saying you are Satchidananda Brahma. It is saying you are not Asat, Achit, Dukkhatma. You are Atma who does not have all this. So it is Neti Neti Prakriya all the way. It says, through saying what you are, it says what you are not. Because what I am, I am. Shastra telling me will not change it, right? It is not sadhya. It is not that I will come up someday. I will change and become something else. No, there is no. If that changes, then there will never be Nitya Moksha. If Shastra is going to bring up a Sukhi Atma from my Dukhi Atma, I am Dukhi Atma today. Shastra will tell me you are Sukhi Atma. How? It will make me Sukhi Atma. That Sukhatvam can go. That Sukhitvam can go. So moksha will not be possible. So when we say Shastra is pramana, right, but not for Atma Siddhi. For Advitiyatva, Jnana Siddhi. Shastra gives Jnana. Shastra cannot give you Atma. You ask, who am I? Shastra will tell you who you are, meaning who you are not. If you say, no, you make me that kind of Atma which is shown in Upanishad, Shastra says, I am helpless. I cannot make you anything. No Guru can make it. No Bhagavan can make you anything that you are not. Can make you understand what you are not. What you are, it is revealed on its own. That is the entire prakriya in this Naishkarmyasiddhi also. Here, Anubhuti Phalarthitva. That's why. What is Atma? Atma is not Asiddha. Atma is Siddha Vastu, not Sadhya. So, Anubhuti Phalarthitva. Atma Jnaha. Atma is Jnaha. Here, Kim Apekshate. This knower Atma, Sakshi Atma, because it is Anubhuti Phala, Arthi. What is the Phala I want? I want Anubhuti as my Phala. I already have Anubhuti as Phala. So what do I want an Anubhuti Phala? I am Arthi of Anubhuti Phala. I want the result in the form of Anubhuti, Sakshatkaraha. That's why Bhagavan Bhashyakara wrote this, Anubhuti. What Anubhuti? So I said Anubhuti, I lost because Anubhuti is there is a Visheshan out of that.
Anubhuti Prakasha.
Anubhuti, no, not Anubhuti Prakasha. Anubhuti Prakasha is Vidyaranyacharya.
Oh, yeah.
Not that. Anubhuti, this Shankaracharya's Grantha. So Anubhuti word is used there. So anyway,
Aparokshanubhuti.
Aparokshanubhuti, yes. So that Visheshan Aparokshanubhuti, very simple. So it's Aparoksha, but the word is Paroksha. So Atma is Aparoksha, Anubhuti. Yeah. Anubhuti Prakasha is Vidyaranyacharya's Grantha. I think it covers 12 Upanishads, 8 main Upanishads. So to say main, I should not say main. Some 7 or 8 Upanishads, and then big Upanishads are not taken. I think 8 are there from Dashopanishad or some less. So he wrote this because those who do not have adhikara in studying Upanishads, Shravana Upanishads also, for them, he's written a grantha which has absolutely the same idea but in shlokas. So it's a Paurushaya grantha which reveals the Upanishads directly using partial mantras, not entire mantra as it is without swara, partial mantra. So the same idea can be conveyed, and he adds more Upanishads. 12 Upanishads are covered in Anubhuti Prakasha. But this is what? Aparoksha Anubhuti. So why Bhagavan Bhashyakara says Aparoksha Anubhuti? What is Aparoksha Anubhuti? Atma is ever Aparoksha. There is ever Anubhuti, but there is Anubhuti of others also. Pratyaksha means, so we have Pratyaksha of Sharira is Pratyaksha, Antakarana is Pratyaksha, Ghatapadadi Prapancha is Pratyaksha, my Sambandha is Pratyaksha. So all these are Pratyaksha, but they are Pratyaksha does not mean Pratyaksha has to be Yathartha. So Shastra's role is to show that Pratyaksha that you have with the Sambandha also, Tadatmya, is all Ayathartha. By saying Satchidananda Brahma you are. Thereby what? Anubhuti Phalarthi, I am all right. Although I am Anubhuti Swarupa only, but still there is a Acharya called Anubhuti Swarupa Acharya. Very nice, Anubhuti Swarupa Acharya. So Anubhuti is my Atma Anubhuti is there. Every Anubhuti is Atma Anubhuti really. There is nothing other than Atma. So here, Atma Jnah Kim Apekshate. There is a tippana here on Jnah. Ajnana Nivruttaye Vrittim Arthayamanaha Api Atma Na Anubhuti Rupa Phalasya Arthi Ityaha Jnah. So that Arthitvam, Arthi. So I want this, I want this. Artha asya this Artha Prayojanam. I have a Prayojana in this pursuit. What is the Prayojana? Moksha. Sukarupa Atma, becoming Sukarupa is the Bhranti there. I want to become Sukarupa. So Ajnane Nivruttaye Vrittim Arthayamanaha Api Atma. For Ajnane Nivrutti, Jnana Vritti is needed. Without that, it will not be possible. No matter how much of bhakti, no matter how much of karma, no matter how much of dhyana, unless the Brahmakara Vritti comes up, it cannot do Ajnana Nasha. That's why Virodharthe nahi. There has to be Jnana, Ajnana are Virodhi to each other. So they will counter each other. Whoever is stronger will win over. So far Ajnana has been stronger. Once Brahmakara Vritti becomes stronger, it will do Ajnana Nasha. And then what? Ajnana Nasha. What does it show? Ajnana Nasha has the dependency on Jnana Vritti. Vritti Rupa Jnana, otherwise we'll say. So Vrittim Arthayamana api. So what is the Anubhuti? Phalarthi I am, but through what? Through Jnana Vritti. Vritti Jnana. Can you see either way? So I am Prarthi, so that, let me have this Brahmakara Vritti so that Ajnana Nasha take place. Not Atma Anubhuti come up. Atma is already there. Ajnana Nasha is Atma Anubhuti. Being Pratyaksha so much so, Aparoksha, known as Aparoksha, and also what? Sakshatkara. So here, although so, na Anubhuti Rupa Phalasya Arthityaha. I want Ajnana Nivritti. For that I need this Vritti, but I don't need, for my Anubhuti, I don't need Vritti. It is not that there will be Anubhuti Akara Vritti. There is no Anubhuti Akara Vritti. Anubhuti is me. Anything else, for that I need Vritti. So far the Vritti was for Ajnana and its Karya, so my Vrittis are going on. Now I want to turn it back on myself, so that this Ajnana which is resting on myself, claiming, a personality, or giving me a personality, showcasing me as a limited being, to remove that, I am turning back my vrittis onto this ajnana. That Brahmakara vritti will take away ajnana, which is veiling me, and then as though I see Atma. Not seeing. I can't see myself because I am trying to see myself. I am trying to see myself with Indriyas, that's why I can't see myself. Once I take away this Indriya Sambandha I cannot see, then what is seen is that is the Darshana. No seeing needed there. No Indriya Sambandha. I am there. That's it. So, therefore, Jnaha is what Swaprakasha ityartha. This Swaprakasha me, whom do I have dependency on? No one. So, kim apekshate, kimapi na apekshate ityartha. Jnaha Swaprakash Atma, Atma Jnaha, Swaprakash Atma, Samanadikaram. Kim apekshate, kimapi na apekshate. Yes, vrittim apekshate, but not for Anubhuti Phala. Anubhuti Phalarthitvad Atma. Kimapi na apekshate ityartha. Kim apekshate aksheparthe. I am Anubhuti Phalarthi, if you say, that is not the real you. That is the Jiva Samsari you who wants Anubhuti. And that entity needs Vrittya, wants an Vritti. Vritti Apeksha is there for that Samsari Atma. Once that Vritti comes in and takes away Ajnana, you are no longer Samsari Atma. Then Anubhuti Phalarthi, Arthitvam is gone. One who was an Arthi is gone. He resolved that. Moha is gone. Thereby Anubhuti Phalarthi, Tvam, in here it is not there. So Prakasha Atma is Anubhuti, cannot be Anubhuti Phalarthi. Is Anubhuti only, not Phala. There is no Phala for this. Anubhuti is not Phala for one who is Anubhuti Swarupa. That is the idea. This is 99th verse. We look at the 100th in the next part. Quite complex concepts also. We'll go a little slow here. We will see in the next part. Yat sakshat satchidanandam pratyagadvem tannamami rusyasi yogi gamyam parampadam. Namaste. Dhanyavada.
Namaste.